Welcome into New Orleans Saints Now. I'm your host, Trizzy Trace, and today we got quite a busy show. We got some injury news to get to around Marshon Lattimore, Chris Olave, Deonte Harty, a little bit more. We're going to talk about maybe do the Saints sign OBJ, and then we're also going to give you guys some shout-outs here later. But before we get started, I want to get everyone going down in the comments. Type Saints for a shout-out. Whoever types it the most, you know the drill, is going to definitely get a shout-out, but I'm going to pick a handful of y'all just to get a shout-out. But make sure you're subscribed so that way you're eligible. But without further ado, let's get into some Saints injury news. So Marshon Lattimore, it's a pretty big one. He left the game yesterday with an abdomen injury. He was seen back on the sidelines, and he was listed as questionable to return. However, he never did. And this comes in at a pretty bad time because the Saints cornerback depth chart is pretty banged up. I mean, you guys are going to not believe when I show you guys this. Marshon Lattimore is hurt. He left the game yesterday. Paulson Adebo, is coming off of an injury. Bradley Roby, he's looking all right. Alontae Taylor is on IR. PJ Williams on IR. Chris Harris Jr. just signed to the Saints recently. And all in all, the defense has to get healthy. The defense is the backbone of this team. Without the defense, this team would not be in any of the games that they have competed in. Without this defense, the Saints would not have 2 wins. Without this defense, the Saints would have 0 wins and have a massive, ratio of points to, a massive amount of points scored against them, and it would just be blown out, and this team would be an absolute joke. There isn't much information out about Marshon Lattimore's injury, unfortunately, so this is why you guys need to make sure you turn on your notifications, subscribe, because we are going to keep you guys notified. I will be also tweeting about this on my Twitter at TraceGerard48. My account will be in the description and in the links of this video, but I want to make sure you guys subscribe because we're going to be providing all the updates we get around Marshon Lattimore. If there's anything notable, we'll make a video, we'll make a community post. Be sure to turn on notifications so that way you never miss a thing, but we will keep you guys covered. Now into the next notable injury, Deonte Harty. Some more news actually came out this morning. He exited the game yesterday with a toe injury during the first quarter after a kick return. He was listed as questionable return, but also did not, similar to Marshon Lattimore. Some reports are believing that it could be a season-ending injury. And Catherine Terrell, who covers the Saints for ESPN, she tweeted this morning. As others have reported, I'm hearing it's a potential long-term injury for Deonte Harty. Pending more tests, that would obviously leave them at a blind at kick returner. Their solution yesterday was to put in Taysom Hill, even though he hasn't done that in several years. And for somebody who hadn't done that in several years, I can't talk today, goodness gracious. For somebody who hasn't done that in several years, he did a pretty damn good job. 3 attempts, 69 yards. It's about 23 yards an attempt. Not bad. You can't really expect more out of a guy who hadn't done a kick return, but I think it's time that you bring me the secret weapon. I think it's time you go into the practice squad. I think it's time you go into the reserves. I think it's time that you get everything out of the way and bring in my boy, Rashid Shaheed. I've been talking about this guy all offseason long because I was so freaking pumped when the Saints managed to steal him in as a UDFA. I mean, this guy is the FCS all-time leader in kickoff returns out of Weber State. 7 touchdowns. Listen to this. I actually had to double and triple check these stats because I wanted to make sure this was correct. This is in career stats at Weber State. In 88 attempts, 2,552 yards, an average of 29 yards, and 7 touchdowns. I think it's time you let this guy get a shot. It will say, it is worth noting, he is just coming off, he's 10 months removed from an ACL surgery, so that is worth noting. He is on the practice squad. Saints need to elevate him. So it is worth, worth noting, is he going to be, a shifty? Is he going to be as quick? Is he going to have that spring that he had at Weber State? I don't really know. I don't really care. I want to see this guy get some reps because, dude, 29 yards a attempt, 7 touchdowns. Yeah, get him the damn ball. Kirk Merritt is also an option. He had a nice 59-yard punt return versus Green Bay during the preseason. He was getting workouts and he was getting reps during the training camp with the running backs. He was kind of on and off whether or not he was going to be on the roster. He ended up on the practice squad. It's a really talented guy. He's a really good football player. I really think that both the Saints have 2 great options here to pick from for a kick returner to replace Deonte Harty because that is one of his biggest strengths. And also that kind of helps out with the wide receivers injuries, which we were going to take a look at here in just a moment. But I want to get you guys' gauge on this. Let me know your thoughts down below. This is on who you want the Saints to have as your replace as a kick returner. Pick one. If you want it to be Rashid Shaheed, type RS. If you want it to be Kirk Merritt, type KM. It's going to be the pinned comment. So when an ad break comes, take advantage of it. Scroll down, type RS for Rashid Shaheed, type KM for Kirk Merritt. But we also want to give some shout-outs because you know me. I love the Who Dat Nation. I'm going to give you guys some shout-outs any chance I get. Shout-out to Pearson1393 and Robert Campbell. We guys asked you to type Who Dat as many times as you can on a recent video. Pearson typed it 77 times, so that's the new record to beat moving forward. Robert typed it 41 times. Like I said earlier, type Saints if you want a shout-out. If you type it more than 77, you're guaranteed a shout-out. But I'm going to pick a handful of you guys to give shout-outs because I love you guys. Just make sure you subscribe. But wanted to give some love to the real ones out there. But without further ado, let's get into some more injury news because it's the Saints, and that's what we do. We're hurt all the time. But Chris Olave, probably the most notable injury in my opinion. He left the game yesterday with a concussion after just absolutely beautiful touchdown catch. We actually have some pictures that we're going to show to kind of show what happened. So Chris Olave, Andy Dalton airs it out. Chris Olave is coming right down here. He catches it, and you can see, go back to that last picture, Seaman. So you can see he kind of has it right here. He has the ball in his hands. And then this next picture shows a little bit of a different angle. He's coming down. He's brought down face forward. In this next picture, you can see he has his head going straight first into the ground. It's not pretty. It looks really painful. And for a minute there, the next picture shows he's sitting there laying on the ground. And for a minute, he has his hands under his head like that. And then he kind of spreads his arms out for a second. He's just standing there. And then you could kind of see him look up. And he just looking around. He looked as confused as all get out. There was stars going on. Lights were on, but nobody was home. It was bad. I mean, it was really, really bad. And I really hope that Chris Olave is feeling better because this rookie is an absolute beast. He was on track he's on track to break the rookie receiving record set by somebody from the Houston Oilers years ago. And I can't remember the name, but it's slipping me right now. Chris Olave has shown that he has been the best rookie wide receiver this season out of a very talented rookie class. And I wanted to see Chris Olave feel better. And I will say this though. Shout out to the guy because I've said it a million times. The guy's a freaking dog. When he gets hurt, despite getting slammed down in concussion, despite having it be ruled an incomplete pass, the refs look it over. He gets up. He's walking off with his hands up because he knows it's a freaking touchdown. And guess what? They overrule it. They overturn it. It's a touchdown for the Saints. And so I want to show some love to Chris Olave. Every week, we ask you guys to type 12 to show Chris Olave some love. But today, I want to show Chris Olave some love. Send him your best wishes to have him get well soon. Type 12 as many times as you can. You guys know the drill. You want a shout out, sound off. Let me hear you. But type 12 to show Chris Olave the best and wish him a speedy and quick recovery because the Saints, they're going to miss him. You guys are going to see some crazy stuff here on the depth chart here in just a moment. But before we get to that, shout out to our sportsbook partner, BetUS. If you guys want to bet on the upcoming game this week versus the Bengals, check them out. Chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code CHAT125 for an $125 deposit bonus. And you might be asking, Trizzy Trace, what does that mean? And let me tell you, you guys put down $100. They actually match you 125%. So you have $225 of cheddar to bet with. And what you can do is you can throw some money down on this Saints-Bengals game. Bengals are 1-point favorites right now. It's kind of a pick 'em. It's a little bit of it's kind of a toss-up. I think that's kind of crazy because a couple weeks ago, the Saints looked like crap. The Bengals haven't really looked all that good, but I thought the Bengals would be the better team. Now it's kind of looking that they both might make it work. I mean, they're both 2-3. This is going to be a wild game. Joey B is home coming back to the Dome. It's going to be a good time. Eli Apple's going to be back in the Dome, so we're going to, that guy's a bunch of burnt toast. He sucks. If you guys want to bet on the Saints, I'm probably going to be betting on that on the over because I think it might be a high-scoring game, actually. It's going to be 43.5. Check them out, chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code CHAT125. So, Catherine Terrell also broke this down this morning. It's been a revolving door at wide receiver this year with Deonte Harty, Traquan Smith, Michael Thomas, and Jarvis Landry have missed a combined 6 games, and that's not even counting the games where they played but left early with injuries. And I want you to take a look at this depth chart. Michael Thomas is hurt. Chris Olave is hurt. Jarvis Landry is hurt. Deonte Harty is hurt. Traquan Smith is coming off of an injury. That's bad. This is not good. This looks very similar to the depth chart that we had last season, and which is why I said earlier, either elevate, not Chris Olave, either elevate Rashid Shaheed, Kirk Merritt, or is it time you make a call? Is it time that you give OBJ a call? Is it time that you pick up the phone and you say, you know what? We've had all these conversations. We've heard all these rumors. We've seen all the interactions on Twitter. We've seen everything going on. Is it time the Saints just say, you know what? Let's see what the price is. Let's see what it takes to get OBJ back in the boot. I mean, I think Mickey Loomis would be an idiot not to at least give him a call and at least not check him out. And I'm not saying he is an idiot. I love Mickey Loomis. I think he's one of the smarter GMs and was one of the smarter owners across the NFL, or not the owners, smarter GMs across the NFL. But give him a call. He's a talented wide receiver, and with all these injuries, yeah, Michael Thomas should be back next week. Yes, Jarvis Landry should be all right, and he was getting practice. He was a limited participant in practice last week. He didn't play in the game, but they're looking like they should be back. But we've seen the injury bug is already here in New Orleans. Why not make a call? Yes, he's coming off an ACL injury, and he's not going to return until November. But if you ask me, I think it's at least worth exploring because he is a talented wide receiver. I doubt it happens, but you never know. OBJ, he wants a ring. He's chasing a ring. He wants to play for a contender. But if the Saints, they start winning games, maybe you can make a case. I think if you want to bring OBJ home, you got to start winning games. You have to show that you're a talented team. You have to show that you can win down the stretch. You have to show that you're going to be a playoff contender. You have to show that you are willing, that you are able to beat talented teams and not rely on a fourth quarter comeback with crazy plays with Jameis Winston, Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas taking it to town for you. I mean, it's a time that I believe that the Saints just see what's up. Just give it a shot because I mean, it's not like OBJ hasn't won a ring. He got a ring last year. He knows that he has a ring at least. So maybe you can kind of be like, he is in no – if you ask me, let me rethink this because he did just win a ring. You could possibly get him to come in a little bit cheaper because you have that hometown discount. He also isn't going to be in a huge hurry to get on a team to win a ring because he wants to go on a team that's going to win. So I think if you look into OBJ and you start winning games, you start making a case for your team, and you start showing that you are a competent and a team that's going to win a lot of games this year, give him a call, see what's up, see what the price is, and see if he'd be willing to come play because why not? Why not? It would be so much fun. How cool would it be to see Tyrann Mathieu, Jarvis Landry, and OBJ all rocking the black and gold back in the dome? I mean, man, that'd be the coolest thing in the world if you ask me. I think it would be so cool. But I want to get you guys to gauge because it's not likely to happen, but it could. You can never say never here in the NFL. Should the Saints sign OBJ? Type Y for yes, type in for no. If you made it to the end of the video, you guys are real ones. I appreciate you guys. Stay golden, and I'll catch you next time.